In this episode of Throttle Out, I have my built TJ and my stock 2-liter JL out on the trail, giving them a shakedown. So we're out here at our local off-road park, Roush Creek Off-Road, which is one of my favorite places to be in one of my favorite vehicles ever, and also a brand new addition to my garage. So I want to tell you a little bit about both of these vehicles right here. This is my 98 TJ. I've had this Jeep for 16 years since I started driving. It was my daily driver for a long time. It's been through 3 different iterations of lift kits. Currently, it's sitting on Dana 35, Dana 30 chromoly drive shafts, Detroit True Track up front, air locker in the back. It has rock crawler, control arms, JKS, track bars. Pretty much everything from the bottom of the tub down has been replaced, including the frame. The whole idea behind this build was to have something that isn't flashy, it's not over the top visually, but it just works really, really well. I absolutely love this Jeep. Every time I take it out here, just point it at whatever you want and it drives over it. But I'm even more excited to be out here in this. This is my new 2-door, 2-liter JL. This is a 2018, and for now anyway, it is bone stock. But make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because it's certainly not going to stay stock for long. What we're out here doing today is just having a good time wheeling both of these Jeeps. It's certainly not going to be a battle between them because obviously this is a purpose-built off-roader. This one is still stock. This is obviously going to be more capable, but there are going to be some things that maybe this Jeep does do a little bit better. So we're gonna come out here, we're gonna have a good time, run some trails, do a little bit of a comparison, but really just have a lot of fun today. Let's go hit the trails. So where we are now is just running down a green trail. This is the first little comparison that we're going to be doing here, and of course I'm in the TJ now, and this is going to allow us to get a little more speed up than we would on one of the more rocky trails that we're going to run in just a second, and really just compare how the comfort level is in both of these vehicles. So in the TJ, because we have these really big 35 by 12.5 inch wide tires on a 15 by 8 inch wheel, and we have them aired down to 15 PSI, you almost have a second shock absorber on the Jeep, and it makes for a really comfortable ride. I mean, I'm sitting in a 20-year-old interior here. I have a radio that I installed when I used to work at Best Buy back in high school, so the creature comforts certainly aren't there like they are in that JL, but from a performance standpoint, this Jeep is really, really well set up. And yeah, it's always going to be a little bit bumpy or off-road, but you feel like you're still very much in control, just cruising along at 17 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and hop in the JL, and we'll see how that one feels. So now I'll go ahead and take a couple of passes down the same little green trail here in the JL, and this isn't going to be all that different. Obviously still very comfortable. The tires aren't as large on this, and even though they are aired down, you're not going to get quite as much of that secondary shock absorber effect that you have with the big 35s on the TJ. And you feel it a little bit more, but I think part of that is that the tires on this Jeep are only aired down to 23 PSI. I didn't want to go too low because it isn't a very wide tire on a also fairly narrow wheel, so you don't have as much natural sidewall pressure. And I certainly didn't want to roll a bead. So a little more air pressure in here so you feel it's a little bit more jarring, but nothing crazy. But it is still going to soak up the bumps pretty well, even going that same 15 to 17 miles an hour. But the big difference that I am noticing, especially on a day like today, as you can see snow on the ground, it's mid-30s with a wind chill, and I'm definitely enjoying the heated seats and the heated steering wheel in this Jeep. There is something about that bare bones basic interior on the TJ that I love and will always love, but it's undeniable that having some of the creature comforts that you get on a new vehicle like this JL can be really, really nice, and certainly does make this Jeep a little bit more comfortable. So after driving up and down what is pretty much just a dirt road, we're on a little bit of a more aggressive trail here. Still nothing crazy, this is still a green trail, but it is a little bit of a washout. It's a little bit of a left to right downhill there, a little bit of an S-curve with a little bit of a rock shelf. So it's gonna give you a little bit of a better idea of what sort of articulation we can get out of the TJ and out of the JL. So I got the TJ here in 4 low. I'm in first gear in the auto transmission, which will help to keep our speed nice and low. One thing about having a very tall lifted Jeep is that when you do get a little off camber, you certainly feel it. So we are on a little bit of a tilt here. I know the limits of this Jeep very, very well, so I'm certainly not worried about rolling over or anything like that. but it is definitely going to be a little bit tippy coming down here. So again, not a huge challenge for either the TJ or probably not the JL either, but it does show you what this Jeep is capable of. Now let's hop in the JL and see how that handles everything. All right, so here we go, same hill in the JL this time. In this first little upper section, I'm gonna go ahead and straddle the big washout in the middle. And that's a big part of wheeling really at any time, but especially when you have a stock vehicle, is picking the proper line. So we're gonna go ahead and straddle the washout. That's going to keep us nice and level, and then toward the bottom, we'll drop into the washout a little bit more and get a little bit more off camber. So as you could hear probably there, a little bit of scraping. I've been doing that all day, just the lack of ride height. That's what you get when you're wheeling a stock Jeep. So it would be a good opportunity as well to use the downhill assist if we wanted to. Check out our video on that as well, showing you exactly how to use that. In this part of the hill, we're gonna go ahead and get a little bit more off camber, pretty much following the same line that we did with the TJ. But it definitely does feel a little bit more stable here with the factory tires, no lift. A little bit of a stiffer suspension even in this off-camber spot here. It does feel pretty stable. So like I thought, no real problems coming down this. It's a nice easy trail, but it does give you an idea of some of the articulation in a stock Jeep versus when you have all that additional droop of a big lifted Jeep. This next obstacle is going to be a little bit more difficult. We're in the TJ, shouldn't have any problem walking up this in this Jeep. We have a little bit of a rock garden, nothing huge, but it is going to be fun, especially in the JL where it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Coming up to the first bit of the rocks here. Just first gear, really no foot on either of the pedals, just cruising through, nice and slow, let the Jeep pull through. The gearing and the big tires really make it so that you can just walk up stuff like this no problem. You give it a little bit of throttle up at the top here just to get over the crest, but for the most part, just walks right through without any pedal input at all. Just a couple of more big boulders here in the middle of the trail. Again, we'll just climb right through this, no problem. A little articulation there. And there we go. Last little bit of this where it's going to be a little bit more severe. Still not too concerned about the TJ here, but the JL might struggle a little bit here. As I suspected, the TJ just walked right up through that, no problem. Let's run back, grab the JL, and see how it does. All right, now we're in the JL. Same trail. Probably going to have to rely on my spotter a lot more here to keep from getting hung up, or at least to keep from dragging a lot of stuff over the rocks, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be coming up on the rocks here in just a second. Got Sage out in front of me spotting, just keep a close eye on him, telling me where to go. All right, pretty smooth, no problem there. I think I probably could have made it through without the spotter, but with the spotter picking the right line, that's a big part of wheeling in general, but especially wheeling a stock Jeep that doesn't have a ton of ground clearance. So we're gonna go ahead and continue on down the trail here up to something that's a little bit more gnarly up top. A little bit of slip, these highway tires. I know we're gonna be dropping down on the bottom back right hand side here. Oh yeah, came right down on the frame rail, but it was to be expected. Sage had me the whole way there. Again, no problem. I probably could have made it without the spotter, but it keeps a lot more paint on the frame rails when you have a good spotter who knows what he's doing. All right, now we're up to those last big couple of steps here that the TJ took on without a problem. I think we may have a little bit of approach angle problem here with the bumper and the splash guard still installed on this JL, but we'll see. So there you have it. A stock JL is very, very capable, especially when you pick your line carefully, you have a good spotter. That was a blue trail. That was a pretty serious trail, and we ran it without any sort of major issues. Of course, the TJ is always going to handle these things better. It's a purpose-built off-roader, but it is nice to see how capable a stock JL is. And I was sitting in here with my seat warmer on, my heated steering wheel, cruising around out here on the trails, having a great time. You don't get that with the TJ. So this is the third obstacle that we're going to be hitting today. This is the most intense. It's not a long trail, it's just one sort of standalone obstacle over here in what's known as the competition course at Roush Creek. So it's pretty much just a really big step that doesn't look like you should be able to drive a vehicle up it. I've taken the TJ up it a couple of times. I know it can run it. It's really just a matter of getting just the right line so that you can get the proper approach angle. I don't know how the JL is going to do on this, but it's going to be a lot of fun for me in the TJ at least. So here we go. Stick to the right-hand side here so we can get that approach angle just right. That front left tire up on the ledge. Following the spotter closely. Just used the rock slider on the right side a little bit, but walked up that really nicely. One of the things that I love about this Jeep, because of the way it's set up, it has the that RH32 automatic transmission, the 3-speed transmission. With the 456s and these tires, you can pretty much point it at stuff and not have to do a lot with the pedal, and it just goes. It just does what it's supposed to do. So again, because it is such a sheer face, I don't know how the JL is gonna do, but let's hop in it and give it a go. So here we go, we're gonna give it a go in the JL. We're gonna try and pick the right angle that I can hopefully hop up on this without banging things up. If we can't make it, we can't make it. I'm not gonna damage the Jeep too bad, but I am gonna give it a go.
Little here. Now straight. Now slowly, yep. Stop.
Don't quite have it with these highway tires. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a bump here. Again, with these smaller tires, gonna have to get a little bit of a run at it here. See if we can make it up without tearing things up too bad. Here we go. So we actually came a lot closer than I thought we would. We got ourselves so close to getting up over this obstacle, but we're in a situation now where there's a rock pressing pretty well on the back driver's sidewall of the tire. And as I'm spinning the tires, working the steering wheel back and forth, trying to find that little bit of grip we need to bump out of here, I'm worried that we are going to either blow the bead, cut down the sidewall. These are highway tires. These are certainly not 3-ply sidewall off-road tires. So we're going to admit defeat on this obstacle. Again, the little JL did a lot better than I thought it would. Can't wait to come back to the same obstacle after this thing is lifted. But in the meantime, we're gonna have to back off of this. I won't say we really learned anything new here today. Obviously, the TJ is a purpose-built off-roader. This is a stock vehicle. This performed a little bit better. But I will say I was very surprised and very impressed by how well the JL performed. People are always saying you can take a stock Jeep out on the trail, you can have a good time, you don't need 35s to enjoy a Jeep off-road, and that's absolutely true. I think we've proved that here today. With that being said, this Jeep is not going to be staying stock for all that long. So make sure you comment below to let me know how you think I should be building this, and also make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's going to be very important so you can follow along with the build of this Jeep.